Hello everyone, this is going to be the third and final video of this day as far as I know. Never know, someone could come up later. This is kind of the video that I actually made it last night and I didn't like the way it turned out, so I'm going to redo it today. Get the normal out of the way. It's July 27th, 2017. This is my 76th day in my second year, 1.076. I want to explain what happened yesterday in two ways. The first one is I had my annual physical yesterday. I had my what they call a biometric screening, where they take our blood pressure, they measure our height, our weight, they prick our finger, get our blood, do our cholesterol, fat, lipids, and all that stuff. And I wanted to just share what a positive experience it was for me and my company to go into the little clinic area, little mobile clinic area they set up, and to be greeted as Miss Parks, and Robin and she, her, and then to go back into the little room that they had set up, the little makeshift room, and sit down, and I had to overview my record, and it said Robin Parks, female on it, and I had to, yes, I agree, all my information is correct. And the 15-minute, consult I had after she measured me and took my blood and told me all about my cholesterol and everything. It was such a good feeling. And to be validated, to feel welcome, to be wanted, to be a part of it, and committed, just so much in it. In reality, just that's who I am, whatnot. And then also yesterday I had to give a presentation kind of on the spur of a moment of a project I'm working on in front of a group of people. And I am a very, very shy, wallflowery kind of person. And so to be put kind of in this on the spur of the moment, Robin, could you get up and show da-da-da? So here I am standing in front of a screen, in front of a group of people. Not something I expected to do, and I ran with it. I mean, I owned it. I took it. It's my baby. My project, my database, etc., and trained people on it. And, I'm Robin. Here I am. She, her, miss, ma'am, whatnot. And again, there was only one. There was one guy in the room. The rest of us were women. Okay, and to be congratulated or thanked from other women in the room as a woman, just again, awesome experience. And I couldn't wait yesterday to get home and make a video with this message of just, for someone maybe who is a little just starting to transition, or they're thinking about transitioning and maybe they're concerned about the future and how will they be treated at work and whatever, to have just to say it's going to work out. It's going to work out. Our fears to a certain degree are our fears. And as Roosevelt said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. A bit of encouragement and whatnot. And sure enough, on the way home, as I'm driving, something came on NPR about our current president apparently sent out a tweet or a series of tweets that basically just told, transgender people, you don't count, you suck, I hate you, whatever else. And by the time I got home, I had time to kind of react to it and think about it. And as it turns out, time to do some research. So I guess I'm kind of lucky. I'm glad that I didn't make this video yesterday, because I probably would have not been as coherent. As it turns out, there are things that the current president wants budget-wise, and he has to find money. And so he decided that I'm just going to save the military a bunch of money and just say no transgender people. From his point of view, it serves his needs, without really taking into account what that would mean if you were an active duty military person at a military base somewhere and you'd been stationed and all of a sudden you're out of a job. Not welcome, And I think a parallel that I would say that I think if a cis person or someone wanted to say, well, it doesn't really affect me. I mean, we're all guilty of not in my backyard type stuff. Doesn't really affect me, not in my backyard. But what I would say to anybody is imagine, now I'm brown-eyed, okay? Imagine me or you going into work and there is an email that gets sent out from your CEO that says, just want to, in the same vein, I just want to let you know, brown-eyed people are no longer welcome or will be accepted for employment at our company. You will not have any job in any capacity. Basically, you're fired. Thank you. And that was the other thing. Dick Wad, president, ended his thing with thank you. But imagine, if you will, at your company, this email goes out and you're brown-eyed, I'm brown-eyed, and all the brown-eyed people are now out of a job for no reason other than they have brown eyes, And you could take that to the color of your skin or a race, African American, Latino, of Mexican descent, of Asian descent. If you have a certain body type or something genetic in you, and that's why I say brown eyes. It's a mutation, right? Our eyes, it's random at birth, right? Kind of like our sex, random. And again, if you're trying to understand that, that would be kind of the closest analogy I can think of, is to someone to say, all brown-eyed people are out. And, you're like, well, but wait a minute, I've been at this company for over 10 years, in my case, 19 years. Been at this company for 15 years. I have service awards. You've awarded me for good behavior and good things, and I've saved the company money, and I've done all these things. And the top management's like, no. You have brown eyes. We don't want brown eyes anymore. So it's discrimination in the workplace, and on that level, it seems kind of silly. Well, if you look at the military as being one of the largest employers, it's discrimination in the workplace, right? And so it opens up a whole thing now where, people, military folks would be totally within their right to appeal the decision. If you got told, I'm sorry, Sergeant Smith, your services are no longer required, we're terminating you, you have an honorable discharge or whatever, that person can go to the military court and file. And if they don't like the results of that, let's say the military court says, hey, our hands are tied, he's the commander-in-chief, the military person can then go to federal court and file discrimination. So, it really doesn't make sense, practical sense, on a number of different levels. But, and again, there's some things there. But my other take, keep in mind the first part of my video here, which was about acceptance and encouragement and the comfort level of have transitioned and successfully transitioned in the workplace, to have that counterbalanced with what happened yesterday. And in this other employer, albeit the military, again, it's such a flip. And, personally, my question for the executive branch of a government is, how's the economy doing? And how is our gross national product doing? What has been done to address our infrastructure issues? As far as running the country, evaluate the person on what they should be doing. And it seems like with the current administration, this at first value seemed like, appealing to his base, his Republican base, kind of a homophobic base, or trying to save money politically so he could have money for his wall project to, cut out healthcare to a portion. But you also have to keep in mind, too, the senators were currently trying to negate that anyway. So you have a group of people in Congress who are trying to take away the transgender rights, undermine it from that end. I mean, President Trump is just the most obvious. He's the figurehead, but this other thing is in Congress right now. And, again, what I would ask the executive is, of the things you are supposed to be doing, keeping the country safe, growing the economy, protecting our jobs, enabling our citizens. Again, I go back to the gross national product. Is our economy growing? Is the number of unemployed people coming down? What is the conditions of life for your average citizen? What is, your poverty level and all these other things? To pick a group of people, a minority, and attack them under the guise of making the country better, it just, it doesn't make any sense. But I'm definitely biased. Attacking transgender people, it's and me being trans, it's I'm not going to understand it anyway. But again, so we'll see what comes out of it. But I want to jump back and see if I can turn this, go back again to that positive thing, because Trump is at best a one-term president. Probably has made more enemies than friends in Washington, and probably for the remainder of his term is going to be the equivalent of a lame duck president. Midterm elections are next year, and I seriously doubt there's going to be a Republican majority in the House, both houses and the executive. And even so, like I said, it's going to be a lame duck session. Nothing's going to get done. I mean, he's totally just screwed the pooch, as it were. But it's not as an attack on him per se. It's just a statement of the vibe. And so he's going to be gone, at most. He's not going to be able to do anything seriously. He's going to be gone in 3 to 4 years. And so he's a flash in the pan, as it were. Very destructive flash, I might add, but he's going to be gone, and we're still going to be here. Our lives are going to continue. I am going to be a trans woman for the rest of my life, and that doesn't come into play. It definitely will affect me as if the Affordable Care Act and that Section 1557 gets repealed eventually, that then companies can discriminate health insurance on your trans status or whatever. That is going to affect me. But again, I still get to be myself, and if you're trans, I hope you get to be yourself tomorrow. That can't be taken away from us. And back to the first part of this video, so much good has come of transitioning in the workplace and being accepted. And that was something else that, yesterday as I walked around my old building and I saw people I had not seen for 2 years, they immediately came up and said, Robin, she, her, Miss Parks. You know what I mean? So, again, that's the positive of it. And hopefully we can get over a short-term negative bump or obstacle. But again, I would encourage someone who might be starting out or feeling a little speed bumped. Again, that is possible. That future is possible. It's not impossible. It may be difficult, but it is possible, and that's a huge step. When something is possible, even though difficult, there's room for hope. You know what I mean? So. And then as a closing thing, I came across a thought yesterday as I was walking that kind of reverberated with me. And it is the idea that, and I have to see it. Okay, here we go. This is it. I remembered it. If there's something a person wants to do, it's up to them to see it through. If there's something that I want to do, it's up to me to see it through. And of course, if there's something you want to do, it's up to you to see it through. And, that's something that I keep coming back to last night and this morning especially. We cannot expect anyone else to help us through this process. I mean, there are people we can talk to and enable us in some way, but it really is up to us to walk this journey. And if there's something that we need to do, it's up to us to do it. It's up to us to take take ownership of it and be responsible. So, all right, I'm out of time. Good luck to everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye.